So we're going to start the unit on triangles now, and there are lots of different triangles that we'll be exposed to in geometry, but three of the big ones are isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, and right triangles, and we need to know some properties about each of these triangles. All right, so an isosceles triangle is a triangle where two sides and two angles are congruent. So I'm going to mark that on this triangle. This side is congruent to this side. That's what makes it an isosceles triangle. Now, if these two sides are congruent, it means that these two angles are congruent to each other. All right, and so that's the big thing you need to understand about an isosceles triangle, is that two of the sides will be equal, and that means that two of the angles will be equal. All right, let's talk about an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle is a triangle where all of the sides are equal. So this is equal to this is equal to this. And because all of the sides are equal, that means that all of the angles are also equal. So I'm going to mark all these angles. Equal, equal. All right. So for an equilateral triangle, equal, it's not spelled right, but you get the idea. All of the sides are equal. All of the angles are equal. All right, last triangle we're going to talk about, a right triangle. In a right triangle, it has to have a right angle. It will only have one right angle. So there is the right angle in this triangle, which a right angle is 90 degrees. And the side that's across from the right angle is going to be called the hypotenuse. Now that's not going to become super important just yet, but it will be in a few weeks, I guess, when we start right triangles. All right, so these are three big types of triangles that you will see. One thing that you absolutely need to know about triangles is that the three angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. All right, so if this is true, if the three angles always equal 180, in an equilateral triangle, there are three angles, and they all have to be the same. So for this one, if you take 180, all of the degrees in a triangle, and you divide it into three equal pieces, you get 60. So in an equilateral triangle, this angle is 60, this angle is 60, and this angle is 60, and that's true every single time. All right, there's one other thing, actually two other things that I want to talk about with triangles, but it's going to be on the next slide. All right, we know something about how the sides of a triangle are related to the angles of a triangle. So the longer a side is, the bigger the angle that's across from it has to be in order to reach both ends of the side. And the smaller the side is, the smaller the angle across from it will have to be in order to reach both edges of that side. And so we can now put, based on this triangle right here, we can put the angles in order from smallest to largest because we know the sides. So if we know that 9 is the smallest side of this triangle, I can tell you with certainty that this is the smallest angle of the triangle. And if we know that 14 is the biggest side of this triangle, I can tell you with certainty that this angle that's across from it is the largest angle in the triangle. And same thing here, except for 13 is the medium piece. So if this is the medium side, I can go across from it and tell you that this is the medium angle. All right, you can do the same thing going the other direction. If you know the angles, now you can tell me which side is the biggest and which side is the smallest. So in this picture, 110 is the biggest angle, which means this side that's across from it has to be the biggest side. And it looks like the biggest side, right? I couldn't tell you exactly how big this side is, but I can tell you that it is the biggest. Now, this 30 is the smallest angle. So if I go across from it, this side has to be the shortest side of the triangle. And this 40 is the medium angle, so you go across, so this has to be the medium side of the triangle. All right, one more theorem we're going to learn really quick. It's called the exterior angle theorem. The exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. All right, so here's what that means. An exterior angle is an angle that sticks out from a triangle. Let me get a different color. Okay, a little bit darker. All right, so if I wanted to make an exterior angle, I would need to go out from one side. So this angle right here is exterior to the triangle. It's on the outside of the triangle. That's an exterior angle. The exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. Remote interior means the two inside angles that are far away from it. So not this 110, but the two angles that are far away. This 40 and this 30. So the ones that I've circled in this teal color are the remote interior angles. And if I add those together, 40 plus 30, I get 70 degrees. And this angle out here is going to be equal to 70 degrees. Now, a lot of you probably looked at this and saw it another way and said, oh, I already knew that. Because if this is a straight line, it's 180 degrees, right? And if this is 110, you could have done 180 minus 110 to get 70 still. So you can still get it in another way. But occasionally you won't be given this information and you may have to use the remote interior angles to get an exterior angle.